Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Mercury Retrograde workshop. I'm so grateful for you to join me today. We're going to go through all of the things. What is Mercury? What is retrograde? I'm going to go through all the key dates with you so you have that and you know when to work with this energy, as well as I'm going to go through all the signs, right? And we'll do cards for each sign and how we can work with this the best of this energy, because we can't fight the energy of the sky. It's always gonna be like I always said, life is lifing, the planets be planeting, and to be forewarned is to be forearmed. Is that right? To be forearmed is to be forewarned. And this is not something to be scared of. This is not something to be fearing. It's great to know what is going on so you can use this to the best of your advantage. So grateful for you to join me on this workshop, and I won't be doing like on my socials like the astrology for this or the tarot for this. This is like exclusively for you guys who have shopped the workshops. I'm so grateful for you. So yeah, let's get into it. If you don't know who I am, I'm Jack Scott Lee, and I am a professional astrologer, tarot reader, spiritual bad biatch. And you know, I love to deliver all the fresh tea when it comes to the cosmos for you to navigate and to use that information to manifest all your biggest goals, dreams, and desires. So let's start off with what is Mercury. And so Mercury is one of the inner moving planets, one of our personal planets. And we call the personal planets, Venus, Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, Saturn, kind of. And this is because they're the closer to the sun and the earth, and the traveling passages that they travel past, and they are the most closest to us. And so we feel their influence like more so than we would do the outer planets. The outer planets, yes, of course, we're going to feel it to somewhat degree, but actually the inner planets, because they're so close to us and because of how they orbit, we feel them the most. So we call those the personal planets. All right. I personally do include Saturn with that. Um, even if it's like a 3-year transit, because its effects are slower but more, profound, right? And so, what does Mercury rule? Mercury is the winged messenger, the god of the messenger, the g- the, the sorry, not the god, the messenger to the gods, right? And Mercury would travel between the Earth to our form to the gods to deliver messages. Okay. Um, if we're gonna take this back to where we are now, Mercury would rule our communication, how we converse with one another. As you can tell, it's retrograde. I can't get my words out, and so this is how we text, how we email, how we call, how we social media. This is technology traveling, and this includes things like your car, your commute, air travel, boats, if you do that, you know, how we write, how we learn, how we speak, our logic and thinking, Mercury rules electronic devices, right? Electricity, for example. Um, And so when we have Mercury retrograde, these are the things that are going to be affected the most because Mercury likes to deliver information. Mercury would take information from the Earth to deliver to the gods, right? From humans to the gods. And so Mercury rules Gemini and Virgo, the signs of communication. Gemini wanting all the information, being here, there, and everywhere. Wanting to learn, asking the questions. Virgo loving to organize and define. And to structure. This is the Gemini aspect of that. Both sides loving to communicate, express through the mind, right? The exaltation of Mercury is in Aquarius, right? Some people say it's in Virgo, um, in Aquarius, okay? And when exaltation doesn't mean better, it just means it acts different and stronger. And so in Aquarius, they say that it's because it's the rules genius. All right. Um, Mercury will be retrograding through Leo. All right. And what does retrograde mean? Retrograde is when a planet appears to be reverse traveling in the sky. All right. This is an optical illusion because the planet doesn't just slow its brakes down and go backwards. No, no, no. It's still going forward, but to us, it will look like it's traveling back in the sky because the what happens the orbit of the planet will slow down. All right. And this will give the appearance of the retrograde. All right. And when it retrogrades, it'll stop at a certain degree, right? This one will be 15 degrees of Leo, okay? And it'll pause at around 15 degrees, and because of the way it's orbiting, it'll go back, right? Back, all the way through. And it will keep going back, right, to 4 degrees of Leo. So it'll still be in the fire sign, and because it's in that fire sign, it'll be very, very a dramatic Mercury retrograde. All right. And this this is like, okay, I need to pause and reflect. This is the best way to work with the Mercury energy is to pause, to reflect, to redo, reflect on, to reshuffle, reorganize, restructure, rebrand, rewrite, all the rereads. Okay. Um, To finesse, to go over things, to be like, "Oh, this isn't really working," or, "Things won't work," or, "Why isn't this not working? What do I need to rectify?" You know? This is the time to, double check everything when it comes to anything you need to sign, Mercury, any contracts that you have, again, mercurial because it's, signature, communication, written, any written paperwork needs to be double checked over during this period. Because miscommunication, if that is strongest, direct motion, Mercury direct is fantastic communication. Going backwards and retrograding means miscommunication. People, even if you were clear as day, people may not hear you. All right. So it's like, okay, I need to converse more clearly. I need to make sure what I'm saying is hitting exactly how I want it to, because people are going to misconstrue what I'm having to say. And it's also about realigning, am I on the right path? Am I in the right direction? Am I hitting a brick wall? Am I doing, the right things? Right. Is this in alignment with what where I want to be going? Do I need to pivot? Do I need to extend the olive branch? Mercury retrograde, depending on the house that it falls in, and will bring back situations which need your attention. This could be in the realms of love and romance. So yeah, Mercury retrograde is very famous for bringing back lovers from the dead, people you haven't spoken to for a long time. It could be friends you haven't seen in a long time. It can bring back it could be, for example, like if you're in a partnership and you thought you resolved something, but actually that same situation will come back again, and for you to revisit. It can be paperwork that needs to be redone as well. It could be like legal matters which come back to your attention, which need to be reworked again. It could be documentation needs to be redone. It could be tests and exams need to be redone. This is the theme being redone because Mercury retrograde can be like an annoyance. You know what I mean? Expect things which are often really typical, like electronic devices like your cell phone won't work properly. Or I was driving with my best friend today, and we were driving through the city, and her sat nav GPS stopped working. Never does that ever. She's like, "Why is it not working?" Trying to jam the wire. Well, it's like, this is retrograde stuff, right? And I'm saying this because we're in shadow phase. So we have the shadow period. So the pre-shadow is starts at 4 degrees from the 29th of June. All right. It will station retrograde on July the 17th. All right. At 15 degrees, which is actually the Gemini degree. To give me the extra punch of a mercurial stuff, highlighting and bringing your attention to how you communicate. So it could be like you will need to communicate something to somebody. Like it could be like, well, okay, we need to iron out an agreement between us. I need to iron out an alimony or a prenup or something like that. Or I need to reword this contract because it's not no longer in alignment. business agreement. They always say, but so this is before I say that, this is from July the 17th all the way through till the 25th of August. This is quite, this is like a huge. I mean, you're station direct on the 11th of August. However, we will still be in shadow until the 25th of August. Okay, because we have a shadow phase. So right now I'm in the shadow, and the shadow phase is like the pre-retrograde shadow. So the shadow is when it starts to slow down. So retrograde shadow is when the planet starts to slow down. All right, before completely grinding to a halt to become retrograde, which will be on July the 17th. A key date to look at is the Kazimi, when Mercury and the Sun will be together in the sky. Great time to manifest, to let things go, to release, to call in, because this is when the Sun and Mercury will have a conversation in the sky together. This is a great time to write down your intentions, what is no longer said. Write yourself a contract, write out what is it that I want to release, what do I want to work on, where do you want to hold myself accountable for, who, excuse me, who is it that I want to become, the version of me, write it out as if it's already happened. Excuse me. Write it out. It's already happened. So the future version of me. I live. I'm so I live in whatever it is. My house looks like. I work at my typical day is or whatever you're trying to manifest. Like it's already yours. This is the power of the Kazimi because it packs the extra punch. It will be at 9 degrees of Leo. So this is like the Sagittarius degree. So this is about super manifestation. Sagittarius is about manifestation, spirituality, delving deep, and quantum leaping into your future version of you in the here and now. Okay.